Well, good morning. Monday morning live. Brr, cold. You're not going to believe it. Just a few minutes ago, it was snowing. Yeah, it was snowing. Now, I know that's not much to, write home about, given what you guys are getting up there in the north, but we weren't expected to get diddly. And I actually saw a flake or two. Flake or two, get it? We got some flakes down here in this part of the neck of the woods, and some might say I be him. Anyhow, it's time to do Monday Morning Live. You might notice I'm in a different position. I normally sit behind the steering wheel. You see, that's my spot. But I got to thinking you might enjoy a view of the yard more than a view of the back of the house. So there you go. I decided to sit over here. But I'll tell you what, when I climbed in, I got to feeling sorry for old Gabriel. This is his seat where he sits, There is no seatbelt thingy-dingy in the middle. And so we had to booger rig it. And we did a little redneck rigging, and we had, I can't even show you, but I got this extension thing, and it extends, you see. And so he goes all the way from the middle to the seatbelt over here to connect himself so that we're legal. Oh my, the life we live. But here I am, sitting in the passenger seat of Mr. Ugly. But I was telling you about feeling sorry for Gabriel. I mean, it's trashy over here. I mean, we got tools, and somebody just discarded their cinnamon mint box over here. I got a tow rope. Yeah, we even got a tent. I got a tent over here in the passenger seat of Mr. Ugly. Oh, bug spray. We got it all. I'll tell you what, you probably couldn't survive in Mr. Ugly, but you certainly would have a lot of stuff to think about while you were dying. Anyhow, what do we do first? Monday Morning Live. Oh, the funny. We're supposed to do the funny thing. And so here we go. We're going to do the funny thing. And my buddy, he wins the potential of getting the mug. Again, I don't have the real mugs yet, but I want to thank Annie Boo, who's home from Haiti. She did a good job over there. She gave me this mug for Christmas, and I'm using this until we get the official mugs. They should be in this week, so next week, God willing, I'll be able to share with you what the official mug looks like. Cindy's tea, the best. I'm kind of like what's his name? Uncle Si. I like tea. I'm not big on coffee. Oh, and that reminds me about something. I need to tell you. I don't know why this came to my head. Uncle Si's never been here, but my office is just about done. And if you've been with me the last 2 weeks on, what's that thing called? Lord's Day Live, we've been in my new office. But I'm thinking next Monday, we may have a special Monday Morning Live taking a tour of the new office. I'm hoping to get it all cleaned up, and there you go. So looky there. Dale, it's good to see you. I haven't heard from Dale in forever. There's Heather. Oh, we got a bunch of you. Thank you for waving at me and coming in for Monday Morning Live. Anyhow, stay tuned. Next Monday, God willing, we'll do a little thing. What do you call that? Hi, Dale. Good to see you too, bro. We'll take a tour of the office. Okay, let's get after this, though. I told you my buddy. Here's the funny. Remember we added last week, we added the potential of you sending me a funny meme. I hope you can see that. I'm going to have to read it because I can't. Can you read that? It's not very good. But anyhow, we're low tech around here. Technically, Moses was the first person with a tablet. Tablet downloading data from the cloud. Get it? Moses downloading data from the cloud. That's cute. That's cute. All right, buddy, you're in the running. Last Monday of the month. Remember, I'll show all the ones who were in the running. You guys get to vote and see who gets the mug. Okay, let's see. I wanted to show you one last. This one's not in the running. I got this one myself, done got a mug, so I'm not going to play. But I like this one. This one says, relax. Well, let me just, can you see it? I like this. This is for all my Louisiana buddies. Relax, Carl. Would I be in here if it was boiling? This is entitled A Lobster Baptism. I might call it a crawfish baptism because that would relate to my buddies down there in Louisiana. Is that cute or what? And by the way, I try to give credit whenever it gives credit. This one is from inheritthemirth.com by Courier Black. He's the one who bid. Good job, Courier. That's excellent. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Okay, so there you go. So we got, last week was Shiloh, and then this week is Buddy. What's Dale say? Are you still, really, Dale? Look at you. He says I'm still one of his spiritual heroes. Oh, Dale's one of my spiritual heroes. Look at that. Oh, my. Okay, what are we doing now? Okay, we done did this, the what do you call it, the funny thing. Now it's time to get into the reading. Here is your Make It Real challenge for this wonderful week that we're about to launch into as far as the work week. Of course, the week started yesterday, right? First day of the week is actually Sunday, but the work week starts today. Recognize God's attendance. Recognize God's attendance. And again, we're reading from the book that nobody seems to want, so we're transitioning to mugs. And anyhow, we're going to read from the book this morning. This one's called Where is God? Where is God? Yesterday, Bryson, and I don't know when this was published. Yeah, I do. 9/19, back in 2005. So the boys were real young. Yesterday, Bryson was sick, and Cindy had to stay home from church to tend to his needs. I took Gabriel to church with me. Every father should have the experience of caring for a 2-year-old during church services. Isn't that the truth? It can be humbling, eye-opening. It can even become a great spiritual awakening. Let me explain. Cindy had all the usual quiet makers packed in the diaper bag. And as service began, I reached in for a small item that would keep Gabriel distracted during the opening songs. Gabriel, no, that's not what it says there. Opening songs. He was fine. I don't know why I can't read. He was fine until we got to the first prayer. I reached in for another distraction. Soon he was bored, and yet he required another item. At this point, I started to get concerned that Cindy may not have packed enough quiet makers to get us all the way through worship service. If you've been a dad, you know what you're thinking. Oh, my. Always save the best distractions for communion. That's kind of a rule. And we were quickly approaching that time of the service, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it all the way. Thankfully, I was able to hold his attention until the men got up to surround the table. As the bread was being passed, I dug deep into the diaper snacks. Gabriel always asked about communion bread, and so just as he was about to blurt out, "Daddy, why can't I have some?" I pushed a goldfish into his hand. Brilliant parenting. Yeah, I know. The goldfish worked fine until the grape juice came. At that point, he wanted a drink. Knowing how the game is played, I was armed and ready. Just as I saw his inquisitive eyes signal that he was about to ask the question, I shoved the sippy cup in his direction. Another brilliant parenting move. As Gabriel was about to finish off a sippy cup, the men returned to the front to pass the collection plates. This time I reached deep into my pocket to find the third and most distracting quiet maker of all, a dollar bill. Gabriel looked up with wide eyes. "For me?" he asked excitedly as I put the money into his hand. "No, this is for God," I said. Disappointed, but still very interested in that dollar bill, he turned it over and over and over again in his hand. "Is he God?" Gabriel asked, pointing in the direction of one of the ushers. "No, that man is an usher. You can't see God." At this point, I knew that the little wheels in his mind were spinning out of control. "Dad, where is God?" he asked. "Well, son," I said in my best father knows all the answers tone, "God's in heaven." Immediately I knew I said the wrong thing. Gabriel stopped playing with that dollar bill. He looked me square in the eye and he said, "No, he's not, Dad. God's in church." Yeah, life lesson. After that brief yet powerful sermon by my 2-year-old son, I sat there for a very long moment thinking about my brilliant parenting. In spite of all my efforts to distract him and to keep him busy during the worship service, Gabriel still managed to find God. Among all the goldfish, sippy cups, and dollar bills that I threw in his direction, he still discovered that which is most important, the presence of the Father. Oh, for a faith that can see past the world and into the heart of God. I pray that you will see God today. Well, your Make It Real thingy whoopus is already there. Recognize God's attendance. So often I do not. You know, I think to myself, hey, I'm sitting by myself and Mr. Ugly. I must be my best self. No, you're never by yourself. God's with you. It's just whether or not you're recognizing God is there. And so late at night, gentlemen, when you're on the computer and that pop-up comes that you shouldn't be seeing, God's right on your shoulder. He sees that too. You know, we're never alone. God is, if we have partnered with God as we're supposed to partner with him, we need to understand that there's accountability there. And so he's with us. Problem is we don't recognize his attendance like Gabriel did at the age of 2. Matthew 18:20, it says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I with them." It's not really a passage about the worship service, although we often use it for that. taken a little bit out of context, but it does deal with the fact that God is with those who gather in his name. And I happen to be one of those folks who's covered by the name of God, covered by the name of Jesus. And therefore he's with me. And therefore I need to recognize that. And I need to recognize his attendance. Doesn't matter where I'm going. He's there. He's with me. Do I want to take God there? Probably a pretty good question to ask. All right. I try to give you 3 hints as to how you can apply this whole idea of recognize God's attendance. Here's number 1. Close your eyes. Yeah. Close your eyes and in your mind, imagine the world. Imagine the surroundings. Imagine the context about you. And understand that even though you might not be literally seeing it with your eyes, it's not like they disappeared. It's not like they're not there. If you got up from your seat, kept your eyes closed, and started walking across the room, you're going to bump into something that is real. And God's just that real as well. Close your eyes. Just because you can't see something, it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't mean that it's not real. And God, although at times cannot be seen, literally, obviously, he certainly is seen in the evidences around about us, is he not? And so we need, close your eyes. Close your ears. Take in that, all the audible stuff. Sometimes one of the things that keeps me from recognizing God's attendance is there's just too much noise. There's just so much going on around about me that it all drowns him out. And it's interesting that God so often comes in a small whisper. Not always. I mean, God's got a booming voice, and believe me, it's a voice that'll shake you to your core. But generally speaking, he kind of stands in the shadows. He kind of stands back, and he kind of observes, and he watches, and he wonders, are you going to recognize that he's even present? Because unlike what so many would say in perverted doctrines of today, God doesn't force himself on us. God loves all of humanity. We are his crown jewel of creation, and he wants all of us to come to him. But at the same time, that's the point. He wants us to come to him. I think that's why Acts 17, 26 and 27 is so very, very important for us to recognize that God put us on the timeline so that we would reach out to him, so that we would search for him. There's something massively special about a child who's looking for their father. And when we deny the ability to make that free will choice, we rob God of the blessing of being dad. So number 2, close your ears. And number 3, what was, oh, your mouth. Oh, that one's a little blunt. Close your mouth. Sometimes the reason I don't recognize his attendance is because I'm flapping my gums too much. You know? Shut down the verbal. Just be quiet. Let God speak. It's one of the reasons that so often in my other live things that I do, I debate people with regards to the authority of Scripture. Everybody wants to talk about what some guy said. Everybody wants to quote some Reformed theologians. Everybody wants to quote some other. Just shut your mouth. Let God speak. If you just obey what God has to say, imagine where we could be. Oh, my. So what was it? Close your eyes, close your ears, and close your mouth. And recognize God's in attendance. Yeah, he's sitting right beside you in the room right now. It may have been a long time since you recognized him, but he's there. Recognize God. All right, we need to end with prayer time, and I've got some new ones here that we need to be concerned about. This first one, Brenda, a good friend of mine down in Louisiana, just discovered she's got a brain condition that, and I understand she had surgery already, but it's a condition that it could be life-threatening. And very concerned for Brenda, and I pray that you will bless her and her family as they're really struggling with this. Denise, also in Louisiana, asked recently on Lord's Day Live if we would be praying for her grandchildren, and so I want to bring that now to Monday Morning Live so that we can be praying for them here as well. Denise of Arkansas, that is our head cook. Denise is the wife of Buddy, who just got his name in for the mug, and she's really struggling with her leg. And I'm really concerned about it because we need Denise in a big way. And it's hard for her to stand when she's cooking and those kind of things. And it's not just we need her, we love her. And so be praying for Denise. Tina and Linda, we've had them on for a long time, both breast cancer victims, and Tina just had surgery. I didn't get to see her yesterday because I'm sure she was way too weak to come to church, but be praying for Tina. Linda, I don't have an update for a while on Linda, but I love her deeply, and she lives in Indiana. She also is struggling with breast cancer. And then lastly, immigrants. I saw a post just today from one of my good buddies, and it was reporting on an individual who was denied access at the border, sent back, and when he got back, he was killed by some terrorists, militants in his own home context. And it just shows you the danger of all of this. Let me reemphasize. I am convinced that it's the liberals who have got our border wide open, and I am convinced that it's the conservatives who want to close it and ask people to come in. You know, it's kind of like somebody rushing into your house. You know, would you mind knocking first? I think that's legitimate for us to ask folks to knock first. That doesn't, however, eliminate the fact that some folks who are coming here and trying their dead level best to get in, even illegally, it doesn't eliminate the fact that some of them are really, they're fleeing difficult scenarios and difficult settings. And so I would like to pray that we would have a government that would recognize the need to shut the front door and to lock it, and then only let those in who come in legally. But at the same time, also recognize that there are individuals out there who are really struggling to find freedom. And we need to do our best to open that door, to make it more convenient if necessary, those kind of things. And what's presently going on in our country, I'm really concerned about it. So let's be praying for the immigrants. Okay, there you go. That's Monday Morning Live. I think we've done everything. Next week, God willing, we'll show you the official mug, and I'll take you on a tour of the office. I'm so thankful you're with me. I pray that your week will be phenomenal. So, let's see. There's my buddy Greg. What's he just turned on? Showed him. Huh? There you go. Good to see Butch. I used to call him Butch. He and I played basketball back in the day. Clearfield, Pennsylvania. Oh, it was good times. Yeah. Sonny Chow's. Be there. Matthew 16:26.